Alright, hello, and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and it is Monday, my favourite day of the week because I love what I do. I hope you do too. And today I think I've got something quite special for you. The Bitcoin monetary black hole, exponential thinking, and I really hope you'll enjoy today's presentation. I worked quite hard on it, so let's get into it. The monetary black hole that is Bitcoin. As we make a move around the clock face here, each complete revolution is one halving cycle, or 210,000 blocks. Each one of these lines in the ring, as we tend towards the center, as we cross each one of these lines, we go up an order of magnitude in the Bitcoin price, and the center of this black hole will be target acquired. This will be goal reached, and in the center of this black hole is where the Satoshi 1 sat equals parity with $1. 1 sat equals $1 in the middle of this black hole. You can see that we're getting incredibly close. It really isn't that far away, and whilst it feels a long way away, $100 million per Bitcoin seems like a long way away. It often seems like it's even impossible. I want to show you that the human brain is not well designed, is not well equipped to deal with exponential thinking. If you don't know anything about exponential thinking, then don't worry, this isn't going to be super technical. This is available for anyone to understand. And if you do understand exponential thinking, if you've heard of this thing before, then likely this is what you think of. You think of, oh, I know what linear growth is, and then exponential, which is much more like a parabola. Okay? So I proposed 3 questions for you here. At 11 a.m., let's assume we put 1 bacteria cell into a bottle, and that cell doubles every minute. Okay? So after 1 minute, it splits into 2, then 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, so on and so forth. By 12 noon, the bottle is completely full. So the question I want to ask you first is, at what time did the bottle become half full? I'll pause here for a second and let you think about it. The answer is 11:59. At 11:59, just 1 minute before the bottle was half full, because then it doubles again to fill up. Walking back, you can see that at 11:55, we were 1/32 full, then 1/16, 1/8, 1/4, half, and then full. Question 2. At what time would you start to notice, if you were one of these bacteria inside the bottle, at what time would you start to notice you were running out of room? By 11:57, the bottle would only be 1/8 full. By 11:58, a quarter full, you would still have 75% empty space. And finally, question 3. Let's say by 11:58, at 1/4 full, or 75% empty space in your bottle, you found 3 more bottles. So now you have 4 bottles total, which is significantly more space. At what time are all 4 bottles completely full? And of course the answer is 12:02, okay, because we were full at midday. 1 minute later, the 1 bottle doubles to 2 bottles full, and then 1 minute after that, at 2 minutes past 12, 2 bottles will double to 4. And we are completely full up again just 2 minutes later. An extra 3 bottles of space provides only 2 more minutes of time before we fill the bottles. This is the power of exponential. So how does this relate to Bitcoin? Well, because as of 22, the estimates show that we are around 4.2% global adoption for crypto users. That equates to roughly 320 million crypto users worldwide. The crypto space is growing at around 113% a year in terms of users. 2022, 320 million users, okay? 2023, we can expect 681 million users. By 2024, we're over 1 billion users. 2025, over 3 billion users. And at 2026, assuming this growth rate remains, Bitcoin will have swallowed the entire world. The crypto space is growing currently at 113% a year in terms of its users. But even if this slows down to 63% growth rate, which is what the internet saw at the same stage of its adoption curve, this is still going to lead us to 4 billion users by the end of 2030. So here you can see, we are on this adoption curve. We are on this path to the inevitable 1 billion users, and that could come as soon as late next year. Conservatively, Bitcoin is going to have swallowed over half of the world by the end of this decade. And you can see here, in white, the total internet users. This is between 1992 and 2006. If Bitcoin can just maintain the same sort of adoption as the internet, then we will be at 1 billion users by mid-2024 and 5.1 billion users by the end of the decade. Just like the bottle, we are much closer to full than anybody realizes. We are at the end of 2022. 2023 is fast approaching. Just by the end of next year, we are going to be at over 500 million users, and the following year, likely over 1 billion. Really let that sink in for a minute, because just like the bottle, we are closer to running out of space than anybody realizes. Bitcoin is closer to swallowing the entire world than most people realize, and it's not anyone's fault. It's simply because the human brain is not designed, it's not well adapted to comprehend exponential. The Bitcoin white paper has been spotted on the streets of Scotland. Bitcoin was more stable than the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq last month, so let that sink in for a moment. All of Amazon Web Services and all of Microsoft Azure and all of Google Cloud has less than 1% of the SHA-256 hashing power of the Bitcoin network. This thing is much bigger than people realize. The Bitcoin hash rate is absolutely ripping. As you can see here in orange, the Bitcoin hash rate continues to move to all-time highs. When this indicator puts in its low, Bitcoin goes on a massive run. And you can see here, it seems to have been forming a low for the last couple of months since around the June low is in. We appear to be heading back towards the upside. This has historically coincided with bull markets for Bitcoin. Game of Trade says capitulation is here. The Bitcoin total supply in a loss 30-day moving average is now at the second highest level ever. So whilst we have not seen this dive down, this nosedive like people were expecting to see, whilst that hasn't come yet, the total supply shows that we are at the second highest level ever, and certainly within the range where bottoms can be expected to form. Investors continue to double down on their bearishness. The S&P has recorded the highest number of puts ever. The amount of puts on the S&P is higher than even the pandemic, the 2008 financial crisis. You can see here, this is the most bearish, this is the most hedged market the market has ever been. Retail continues to buy record puts, while corporate insiders continue to stack up on the S&P 500. The triple Qs are showing divergence in new highs versus new lows, similar to what we've seen in previous bear market rallies, showing that, if nothing else, a relief rally should be on the cards in the near future. The Bitcoin bears are losing power. The GMMA oscillator signal line crossing is incoming. We expect a midterm bullish impulse within the next weeks, as do I, as I think we're going to bounce out of this cycle low and snap to the upside. The US Treasury has stated that the US September budget deficit of 430 billion versus the prior year at just 65 billion deficit. This is a direct result of the rate hikes. This is a direct result of the yield and the bond prices. We must be close to the end of this rate hiking cycle, and we're starting to see that in the news. I want to ask you the following question. Are you ready for a financial crisis? But first, we have a blow off top to make. We have a blow off top move, followed by letting Congress out of the top, and then we go great financial crisis. This is likely going to be fueled by all of these puts, all of retail being bearish, all of the market being on the wrong side, overly hedged. The dollar is bid. I like to see this. I want to see a bit of pressure put on the market so that we can force this cycle low in the equities. That remains to be seen. I think it's slightly too early to call this a cycle low. I want to see one more rollover, one more dive down, and then we can call that the cycle low and look to get long. The same is true of the Nasdaq, one more dive lower to retest this line perhaps, and I think we can call that the cycle low. Same is true of the UKX. I think one more dive lower and we can call that the bottom and start to entertain longs. Around 2 weeks before we can start to entertain, in my opinion, bounces for the crypto market and for crypto related equities. Coinbase, MicroStrategy, Riot, Marathon. I think a week more time to elapse, and then we can start to average into these positions for longer term accounts. Tesla still underneath resistance. Again, I think we need a little bit more time to elapse, and then we can start to go. Perhaps Tesla's going to lead on positive earnings, so that remains to be seen. Apple is already out. Perhaps we can get a retest and resumption on positive earnings. Again, something I'm keeping a close eye on. I just want to see a little bit more time, and then we can look to long from here. Gold continue to hold a short. A little bit too early. This is be a day 17 cycle low. A little bit early, really. They do show up every once in a while, but since we had one back here, I think it's unlikely that we're going to get another one this soon. As such, we should expect a continued move lower for gold, so I continue to hold my short and push this trade. Here's Bitcoin. Check Bitcoin out. It's wandered out of here. We know what's going to happen. It's going to waddle around, drop into this cycle low, and then we can entertain longs. The same is true of Ethereum. Patience is very nearly being rewarded here. We are only around 13 days or so from the cycle low. XRP continuing to range between 41 cents and 55. So all the while we're in here, it's kind of in no man's land, but I will continue to push this trade because I do believe that potentially we're going to see an SEC case resolved in the not too distant future, and that is going to catalyze a massive upside rally for XRP. Cash, I'm going to accumulate some of this and tuck it away for the longer term. I am going to wait until we get to this cycle low for Bitcoin as well, because this seems highly correlated to the Bitcoin chart. The chart of truth, the 10-year yields, we need to see a top come in, but I think we got a little bit more of a push up to 4.5% first, just while we can confirm this November, the second rate hike of 75 basis points, which I think is the most likely. It's certainly what's being priced in at the moment. Then I think we can entertain seeing a pause, or at least a slowdown in rate hikes from the Fed. And I think we see yields come off and the dollar come off strongly around that time. That remains to be seen for now. That's the analysis. If you found value here today, I'd appreciate it if you could drop a like on the channel. Subscribe if you're not already. Subscribe if you want to see how I deal with these trades over the next week or two coming out of these cycle lows. In the meantime, I hope you enjoy your week. I'm looking forward to this week and next week. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity here. I think there's going to be a lot of swings and moves. So looking forward to that. Take care of yourselves. All the best from me. Cheers. Bye.